Hey guys, it's me again. I'm here with my WL Toys Wild Truck. Well, I'm here with all the parts to my WL Toys Wild Truck. I've been sitting here about 15 minutes, maybe 20, disassembling this thing because the speed control came loose. And the way this thing is designed, you can't get to that thing with the body on at all. You can just barely get your finger up inside there to hit that on off switch should you need to, which I needed to a couple times in my running video yesterday, because when I crashed it would flip over and once in a while it would hit the on off switch and shut itself off. Really the only problem I had with it while I was running it, other than the terrible handling. So since I was taking the body off anyways, I also took these shocks off, and as I suspected, a couple of them have no oil in them. None of them, they don't feel that good anyways. One of the fronts was completely empty, and the bottom half, it has an upper and lower cap, and the lower cap was only on 3 or 4 threads, and all the oil ran right out of it. That's why the bottom of the front end was wet when I got the truck. And I wasn't sure if it was shock oil or diff oil. I would assume it's shock oil, because Hobby King card probably doesn't have any diff oil. So I got them off, got them apart. The front springs seem ridiculously stiff, but they didn't feel like it on the car. It must be just something that it needs to be that way with a cantilever setup like this, because the front shocks on this model lay flat rather than being vertical like most of you are used to. Kind of like a Revo suspension in the front end. It works more or less. I think most of my problem with the handling was the rear suspension. I got to get a metric ruler here and figure out what length these shocks are, because I'm actually thinking about upgrading it. I like this car enough that I wouldn't mind spending the money. Or maybe even just longer springs, because these actually almost extend beyond what the springs are capable of. And that's all I got to say about that. I'll probably just put some new shock oil in them and just try them. I'll seal the threads up good, like they should have been in the first place, and see what happens. Now, as I was tearing this thing apart, I noticed something odd. Even with all the shocks off the car, the suspension does not bottom out. I mean, it doesn't even come close. It doesn't touch the ground anywhere. It doesn't seem to be a problem, because like I said yesterday, it doesn't go fast enough for durability to be an issue. I don't think you're going to jump high enough or hard enough to break anything in the suspension. And as solid as those front arms are, they're not going anywhere anyway. This thing is built pretty rugged, except for the flimsy, goofy battery tray. So this is what we've got so far. One thing I noticed as I was tearing it apart, it's all hex hardware. And not only is it all hex hardware, it's all 2mm hex hardware. You can take this whole car completely apart with one little hex driver. That's pretty cool. I wish the name brand guys could pick up on that. So I think I got to clean up my mess, and then I'll probably have to come back later to work on the shocks because I got to go to work. But just giving you an idea of what I'm finding as I'm digging into this thing. Another thing I think I'm going to do, I had the body panel off. I was going to take them all off, but too many screws and I didn't feel like screwing with it this morning. I didn't mean to say it that way. I think I'm going to order clear body panels for the twin hammers, because I really hate the graphics on this thing. It just looks like cheap Chinese junk. Just because it is cheap Chinese junk doesn't mean it needs to look like it. So I'm going to get my own panels and paint them. I thought about dipping them in brake fluid and stripping the paint off, but I think this is that PVC crap, and I'm not so sure that that'll work like it does on Lexan. So that's where we're at with the Wild Truck. Plus, if I repaint it, I don't have to call it a Wild Truck anymore. I think that's stupid. Alright, we're back with my parts to my WL Toys Wild Truck. I took these stock shocks, even though they feel like complete garbage, I put some axial 30 weight oil in them, I'm going to try them again and give them a fair chance. Before I do, I want to see how long these son of bitches are. The rears are 115 millimeters from eye to eye. That's a static length. Kind of a long size. It might be Savage shocks or something that'll fit it. And the fronts are 70 millimeters. And I think the fronts can stand to be a little bit longer. Well, we're going to try it with actual oil in them. See how they work out. I got a pretty good idea how they're going to work out, but I'm going to try them anyways. I still haven't glued my ESC down. First things first. I'm not going to be able to go out and run today anyways. It's too cold this morning, and I probably won't be home early enough to do anything. Welcome to my life. Really not too bad to work on this rig. I would almost dare say that the plastic is halfway decent, because as I've been tearing stuff apart and putting it back together, the screws don't seem to want to strip. Pretty happy with this for the money. God, the front shocks are... I wish there was some way I could show you just how stiff those shocks are. Like I said before, maybe they need to be stiff in this type of a suspension setup. They're just wacky. Man, they don't feel like it once they're hooked up though. I mean, it takes a real effort to compress that. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Isn't that how the saying goes? Come on, bastard. The eyelet's pretty tight fit down in there. Might have to try some 80 or 90 millimeter shocks. There's lots of room. I mean, there's more travel here than what these shocks are allowing. Of course, that might make it even worse. Who knows? Oh, you bastard. What the fuck? Come on, you little bastard. Thinking I could have done the other end first. Oh, God. Yow. Well, I'll turn it back on after I get done fighting with that cocksucker. Alright, I've almost got the shocks back on this thing. If you go to put the front shocks back on this, do yourself a big favor and attach the inboard end of them first. I did the cantilever end first, and the inboard end was a real son of a bitch to get on there. The rear shocks are a trip too, trying to get the end into the length. Not really much adjustment for the shocks. You pretty much use the hole they gave you, and there's not a lot of mounting options. There's one extra up top and nothing in the bottom. It is what it is. If you want to tune it, you're going to be buying springs or shock oil or something. Well, there it is. Wait, it might be too stiff now. I don't know. The front end has no flex whatsoever. Those aren't going to work. Gonna have to get some new shocks up front. The other downside of this car is this all-in-one speed control and receiver. I see a lot of companies with cheaper cars go into this, and I'm not a fan of it, especially this car, because this thing comes with a great radio, and when I replace this with a regular speed control and a different motor, that great radio is going to be useless to me. I'll have to do some research, so maybe this will run a little bit hotter motor. It's got enough power for what it is anyways, but we always want to upgrade something. I've got adjustable turnbuckles up front. All of them are adjustable. There is no adjustment in the rear. It's kind of a cool foiling setup. I imagine it's exactly the same as the twin hammers. Let's see, dog bones in the front, I would assume. There's so much shit in the way you can't even really tell. Could possibly be CVDs in there. I think it's just dog bones. I don't know, we got her back together. I gotta get my glue and attach that ESC before I try to put that body back on. To attach the ESC, I'm going to use this stuff. It's Household Amazing Goop. I've used this to attach quite a few ESCs now. I have not yet tried to take one back off. I think this stuff just dries to like a rubbery cement kind of thing, so you can peel it off and then clean the chassis up pretty easy when you're trying to remove it. But I don't know for sure. One of these days I'm going to find out. If you're familiar with this stuff and you've used it and you know I'm ruining all my chassis, enjoy the laugh. But tell me about it, because I'd like to know. And then one thing, it makes a sticky fucking mess. And it smells like wide open ass. I mean, terrible smelling. And it smells for days. That's all it takes, a little dab and it'll hold. I've never had it let loose on me. Oh, that smell. God damn. If you wanted to huff glue, I'm pretty sure that'd give you a buzz. Ah, nasty shit. I was going to buy a Twin Hammers body for this, but I've got some clear 40,000 Lexan down in the garage. I think I'm going to make a body for it. It doesn't look that hard. I see the aluminum bodies they sell on eBay for 40 to 50 bucks. I can do the same thing out of Lexan for free. It'll be kind of a fun project. Might not have some of the cool body lines in the side panels, but won't need them. I'll be able to paint any design I want on it because it'll be flat surfaces. I'll show you how it turns out. Maybe walk you through it a little bit. I gotta do something with this antenna tube, or antenna wire. There is no tube. What should I do? I can't run it through the body because I'd have to put a hole in the driver right about where his nutsack would be. And that doesn't sound very pleasant. I'm going to have to tuck it up inside here somewhere. They had it kind of routed underneath the ESC, and I didn't care for that setup too much.